The virtual meeting will now be called to order to receive Her Worship the Mayor and Deputy Mayor. Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you. Welcome to the virtual meeting of the full council. It's 6 p.m. on Tuesday, the 7th of July, 2020. My name is Councillor Linda Eaton, and I am the Mayor and Chair of this meeting. And my fellow councillor, Councillor Lily Kaufman, is a Deputy Mayor and Vice Chair. In accordance with the regulations made under Section 78 of the Corona Act 2020, this remote meeting is being live streamed and recorded. The audio-visual recording will also be made available on the Council's website and YouTube channel shortly after the meeting. All meeting participants are reminded to speak slowly and clearly in the direction of their device's microphone at all times. A reminder that mobile phones and other electronic devices should be turned off or put on silent mode. And those participating in the meeting should refrain from taking telephone calls. For the purpose of recording of attendance, I can confirm that the following councillors are present and participating in this remote meeting. Rosemary Adams, Naveed Alam, Lee Bentley, Bill Bolter, the leader of the council, John Boyce, Linda Boardley, Frank Boardley, David Carter, Latif Dar, myself, Robert Eaton, Dean Gamble, Samir Hack, Priti Joshi, Lily Kaufman, Jeffrey Kaufman, Amandeep Kaur, Claire Kozlowski, Helen Lloydall, Kevin Lloydall, Sharon Morris, Richard Morris and Ian Ridley. We also have the following officers in attendance: Samuel Ball, Anne Court, David Gill, Stephen Hines, Philippa Fisher, Adrian Thorpe, Stephen Tucker and Alex Ward. Finally, we also have the following invited guests in attendance in relation to the exempt agenda item 11 regarding the Oadby swimming pool site, Leicester Road, Oadby. Sophie McHale, Yasmin Nally, Craig Taylor and Alan Wood. For the purposes of the regulations, I can confirm that before this remote meeting went live, all participants confirmed that they can see and or hear all other participants. This meeting will be conducted in accordance with the Council's adopted remote meeting procedure rules, a summary of which is attached to tonight's agenda for reference. May I also politely remind all participants that they must not act in a disorderly or disruptive manner or otherwise interfere with the Council's proper conduct of its business. Thank you. Before proceeding with tonight's agenda, I would ask that everyone joins me to observe a minute's silence in memory of the late former councillor and former mayor and honorary alderman of the borough, Mr. David Chappell, who sadly passed away on the 23rd of June. Thank you. We now move on to agenda item 2. Apologies for absence.
Thank you, Your Worship. We've not received any apologies as such, but we have been advised that Councillor David Lloydall is delayed and may join the meeting at some stage. I also understand that there's a meeting going on at County Hall, so Councillor Charlesworth may also join the meeting at some point.
Thank you. Declarations of interest. Are there any declarations of interest? No, thank you. Agenda item 4, minutes of the previous meeting. To read, confirm and sign the minutes of the previous meeting in accordance with Rule 19 of Part 4 of the Constitution. So do I have a proposer and a seconder?
Move.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Agenda item 5, action list arising from the previous meeting. To read, confirm and note the action list arising from the previous meeting. Is that noted? Can I have a proposer and a seconder, please?
Move.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Item 6, motions on notice. To consider any motions on notice in accordance with Rule 14 of Part 4 of the Constitution.
None received, Your Worship.
Thank you. Item 7, petitions, deputations and questions. To receive any petitions, deputations and or to answer any questions by members or the public in accordance with rules 11, 12, 13 and 10 of Part 4 of the Constitution and the petitions procedure rules respectively.
None received, Your Worship.
Thank you. Mayor's announcements. Well, because of the coronavirus, all the events everywhere have been cancelled, so there are no mayor's announcements. Thank you. And likewise, there's no list of official or deputy mayor or deputy mayor engagements. Agenda item 4 then, leader's statement. Councillor Boyce.
Thank you, Your Worship. Clearly we are in strange times. It would have been nice to have had this meeting and just look at positives. Unfortunately, we are now in lockdown with the city and other parts of the county. That lockdown took place just over a week ago. We were not either consulted or a part of that decision, so it is imposed upon us. However, this is a public health issue. This is an issue that we as members and as a council frankly have no option but to support. I understand that there are outbreaks in the borough and there is a sign that there is a need for taking action. At the end of this meeting, Philippa will go through the publicity and the actions that will be taken over the next few days, which I would ask all members to support. The central message is clearly one of getting tested. There is work going on to ensure the capacity of the borough and the area to actually deliver those tests are also going on. So there is work. I have to say, and I must pay tribute to the senior officers of the borough, the amounts of time, effort they are putting in to resolving this COVID issue and to support the residents of this borough are outstanding. Every single one of them has done many, many more hours and many unsocial hours than most of us would even contemplate doing. So I put on record my thanks for that. I have tried in the last 3 months to update when something is required or something's changed. I will continue to do updates as things change, as will the office and so on. So please look out for those. If there's anything to say, we will say it. Money. It's clear that the last report this evening does not make good reading. It's also clear that the accounts of the organisation do not make good reading. It is terribly difficult to know where we are, simply because the government is reacting all of the time to overspend, lack of income and so on. So to give an accurate picture is difficult. Some local authorities have taken the view that they'll do in-year budgets. Frankly, we have enough in reserve for this year and probably most of next year anyway. So there's no particular requirement for that at this moment, because frankly, all we would do is cut, and we've no idea until there's clarity what we should cut, if we should cut, and what we should preserve. Therefore, I think it's correct we hold our nerve and wait and see. Timescale. I've said all along, I believe the next round of these meetings will take place virtually. I think it's probably easier to assume that and actually to deliver it that way, simply because I think there's so much uncertainty. It would be nice to get back to proper meetings in November, and also to allow the mayor and civic functions to take place at the same time. My guess is we will be lucky if it's all over by Christmas. And anybody, I can't remember who said that, but it was quite a long time ago, and it obviously wasn't. We'll have to wait and see. Finally, it's important as an employer that our staff have time off, and therefore Anne updated all of us earlier this week about certain senior people being off. It is important that all staff have the opportunity in the next 6 weeks to take time off, simply because you cannot work as hard as some of them are working all of the time. So we as members need to bear with that process. In September, yes, let's set ourselves a goal of trying to operate at least as close to normal as possible from September, but members need to bear with the officers between now and then, simply because it would be inappropriate for us to expect them to do more and more and more, and then put the day job more and more in front of them as well. So with that, once again, can I thank the senior officers and all of the staff who've come up to the plate and worked extremely hard. With that, I'd happy to take questions, or I'm happy that the meeting continues.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions? I can't see any hands raised. Can we carry on to the next item then, please? So the next item is item 11, but before I do that, I'm going to read a statement out. Exclusion of the press and public. The press and the public are likely to be excluded from the remainder of this meeting in accordance with section 100A(4) of the Local Government Act 1972, exempt information, during consideration of the items below, on the grounds that it involves the likely disclosure of exempt information as defined in the respective paragraphs 3 of Part 1 of Schedule 12A of the Act. And in all the circumstances, the public interest in maintaining the exempt items outweighs the public interest in disclosing the information.
Your Worship, are you moving that motion?
Yes, I am. Sorry, that was going to be my next.
I second this motion.
I moved that motion. Thank you, Councillor Kaufman.
If members wish to,
Sorry, Councillor.
if members wish to approve the exclusion, can you please raise your hands virtually on Zoom? Mr. Tucker, I have the majority of the members approving the exclusion. Do you have the same?
I do.
Thank you. For the benefit of any member of the press and public observing proceedings, the live stream of this meeting and the recording will now be stopped.